Louise Leonhardt and Judy Glazer are busy selling tickets to the dinner dance. I think they're closing down now to count because it almost looks like we're just about sold out, believe it or not. 220 tickets. Let me tell you, it's a hot night. It's a hot night, December 20th, yes. We all had a wonderful time last year, and hopefully you've got your tickets. I'm sure when I got out there, they were in close to the hundreds or something, but they're not sure how many numbers. So they're counting, and depending on what's left, if you haven't purchased your tickets, you can get them after the evening, or she will also be selling tickets on November 20th, 27th, and the 29th from 9 to 11. We will send out an email to all members in the event that there ain't no more tickets, so that you at least are aware of that. Once we hit the 220 minimum, unfortunately that's due to fire regulations and also allowing us to have enough room on the floor so we can freak out to the wonderful music like we did last time. Anyway, welcome. Glad to see you all tonight. An interesting program for all of you tonight with our Radio Days group. But before we start with the entertainment, we also have some business. As you know, tonight is election night for us, for the new board members. And prior to all of that, I want to ask you, those of you that attended, I'm sure, enjoyed, is anybody hungry? Yes, over the river and through the woods. Everybody involved in the show, if you're here tonight and you were involved, please stand. Please. In any way, shape, or form. In any way, shape, or form. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful show, a bit of comedy, a bit of, as I told the folks at the cast party, a little comic and tragic, but it was quite interesting. Laughing all the time, and very poignant little pieces here and there as well. I'm sure it hit a lot of us home about many things. I think I was telling the group at cast party that it was really interesting. I went Saturday night, and everybody got hysterical about, oh, what's your line, Linda, is it? Nobody moves. We know nobody moves because of the weather, right? Nobody moves because of the weather, and everybody started laughing, you know, because a lot of us, that's the reason we moved, right? But we had a wonderful time, a wonderful show. We did very well. Ended the season with a bang, which is what we'd like to see. And we thank all of you who didn't stand up, but we thank those of you that stayed seated, because you were the folks that helped support it and helped support all of our shows throughout the year, and we thank you very much. We're prepared for a wonderful new season, and I think you're going to, again, laugh an awful lot with the first show, the first weekend in February, The Odd Couple. The director, Ann Rose Pearlstein. Where are you, Ann Rose? There she is, okay, and got her cast all in place and everything ready to go. I'm sure you remember that wonderful Odd Couple, and we're going to have another great show for you in an opening season. Followed by Gypsy. Mr. McNeil is here. I saw him. Where is he? Yes. And his lovely producer, Bernie McNeil. That's going to be another wonderful show. And then in June, yes, busting out all over, Nonsense with Carol Roboleski as director. Here she is. We're going to have the flying nuns all over the place. Those were the days, right, where they were in full uniform. And nobody dared say a word. But this is a funny group, as many of you know who have seen the show. This is the original Nonsense. There's, as you know, a variety of them that have come along the way, but this is the original production. And of course, Follies in September, and then we end the season with The Man Who Came to Dinner, directed by Maestro Bob Taylor, who's also in the audience. So it's going to be a great, great season, and I hope all of you will support us. I know you will. Okay, we talked about the dinner dance. We talked about the season. We have got a couple of little things, one in particular that Mr. Treasurer Kevin McKeon would like to share with you. So I'll turn the microphone over to Kevin.
Thank you, Arturo. It's going to be two things instead of one because I always kind of multiply. He did mention Over the River and Through the Woods. It turned out to be, from the treasurer's vantage point, the best show we had. So I'm very appreciative of that. It helped balance the books here at the end of the year. As you know, it's been a little bit of a rough season, but this was, holding down expenses, and the folks came to see it. So thank you very much. Producers here, I don't see Jim, director, but thank you everybody who stood up and was part of the show. So I appreciate that. The other thing was we had the fall picnic out at the pavilion in early October. Where I was sitting and tables around me, the food was great, and I kind of belonged to the Clean Club or Clean Plate Club and ate everything in sight. Some people had a little bit more difficulty with the chicken in particular, as in it was raw for some people. The contractor that we use, the caterer, was appalled. And they do a lot of business with us. They do all the cast parties. And they wanted to read a letter. They didn't want it sent to the board. They didn't want to just note it. They wanted to step up and take responsibility for the meal not being cooked. They also didn't charge us a dime, wouldn't accept a dime for the whole meal. So they lost, and I'd just like to read you a quick letter. Dear Janet, this is a Janet Gurley. She's right now at a Formula One race in Austin, being from Motown. She has to follow the circuit or some such thing. So she said, you read it. Dear Janet and other theater members, I am regretfully writing this letter to all of you to apologize for the food that we supplied to you at your last event, the fall picnic in the pavilion. Although we did not actually prepare the chicken ourselves, we are definitely responsible for what is served using the lunch lady's name. We should have never allowed you to receive it if it wasn't up to our standards, and please believe we have set very high standards regarding our food and service. Not only did we risk our reputation, but also put a shadow over the hard work Janet does to make theater club events a success. We can only hope that you would all understand our mistake and be assured that we will never let anything like this happen again. We have very much enjoyed serving you all and hope to continue working with you in the future. Thank you for your time tonight and allowing for this apology to be read. Mindy and Brandon Maynard, the lunch lady. So it's a class act accepting that. We tried to get her to take some money because, like I said, where I sat, the food was good. She's not having a bit of it. So she's an advertiser, and I still encourage you to go there. And that's about it. We have other business to attend to.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and we thank the lunch lady for, she's a class act, it's definitely true, and for acknowledging that and working with us. Okay, now, I think unless are there any questions, frustrations, neuroses, or anything that we need to deal with whatsoever? Okay? No? All right. What we need to deal with now are the elections of the new board officers. These individuals will begin their in some cases 2-year term, in some cases 1-year term, will begin in January. We normally have elections in December, but since last year we started the annual dinner dance, the board felt it was not really appropriate to have elections at that time, so we've moved the elections to now, to November. You will recall, those of you that were with us last month, I believe, we went through once again the changes to the bylaws. Basically, the major change that has caused the bylaws now, not the bylaws, but the membership on the bylaws to be smaller in number. We have a president, a vice president, a secretary, director of production, and director of member services. Under those two will be a host of committees that those people will oversee. The bylaws you accepted the bylaws, we voted on that. The following day, I took the bylaws to Lifestyles. There is a process here just as bad as DC, Washington, DC. And the bylaws were signed and approved, sealed, and delivered. So they now are on file with the Lifestyles offices. So now, officially beginning in January, we will have a board of directors consisting of what I just mentioned, a president, a vice president, a secretary, a director of production services and director of member services. So what we have to do tonight is to elect those individuals. The nominees were presented to you at the last meeting by one of the members of the nominating committee. I'm going to turn over the microphone to Bob McCluskey, who is sitting on the current board as the immediate past president and was also the liaison to the nominating committee. Mary Kay Montgomery, who was chair of the committee, of the nominating committee, was to be with us tonight to go through this process with you, but unfortunately she's taken ill. So Bob was kind enough to agree to lead the process. So Mr. McCluskey.
Okay, first of all, let me remind you that McCloskey served as a liaison between the board and the nominating committee as best I could. And it was a struggle at times, but as best I could. I did not offer opinions until I was asked and did not vote unless it was demanded of me. So the three members of the committee that made the decision relating to our nominees were Mary Kay Montgomery, chair, Bob Taylor, and Wendell Turner, members. I think at the last meeting, I was unable to attend, the process that they went through in order to identify the nominees was explained to you, so I'm not going to go over that again. I am simply going to say to you that there is a slate, a recommended slate of 5 officers. To the best of my knowledge, there have been no additional candidates presented to the board. So the 5 recommended nominees are Stuart Blickstein, president. He is currently in Africa, I think. Kevin McKeon, vice president. And Kevin, you're here. I would ask you if you would please stand. Norma Lavelle, secretary. You are also here. If you would be so kind as to stand, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Nick Colavito, who is recommended as treasurer, is unable to join us tonight. Roscoe Sandlin, who will be Director of Production Services, is here. I would ask if you would please stand. And Judy Glazer, who will serve as Director of Membership Services, is here and is currently standing. So the recommended nominees are Stuart Blickstein, President, Kevin McKeon, Vice President, Norma Lavelle, Secretary, Nick Colavito, Treasurer, Roscoe Sandlin, Director of Production Services, and Judy Glazer, Director of Membership Services. And in the absence of any opposing candidates, I would ask this group to please approve the recommended slate by acclamation by indicating "Hear, hear." Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much, your new officers.
God bless you all. I will be 2 more years as immediate past president and be on the board to share my wisdom, as did Mr. Taylor and Mr. McCluskey. Then I'm home free. But anyway, I thank everyone for their services, members of the board. We still have couple more weeks to go. We have another meeting in December, and then, of course, our dinner dance will be a fun time. Okay, I think we're all set to go. I have been advised by Judy Glazer, who was kind enough to help us out with the sale of tickets, that we have 50 seats left for the dinner dance, okay? 50 seats left. So if you have not purchased a ticket, or if you know of someone that has indicated an interest in being part of the dinner dance, attending the dinner dance, please let them know that there are 50 seats left. They will be here after. If there's someone in the audience who did not have a chance to buy tickets and wants to this evening, Louise and Judy will be here, or one of them will. They will both be here to sell tickets after the evening's performance. And if there are any left after tonight, November 20th is the next sale from 9 to 11 here in the box office, November 27th and November 29th. I suspect that by November 20th, they'll probably all be gone. So we'll have a great time. So without further ado, I hope the radio group is prepared backstage. Producer Ellen Altman is going to give them the high sign. Publicly thank Ellen. Ellen has been serving as producer for all the monthly productions, and she's done a hell of a job. I can't say anything else. Please give her a round of applause. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you very much. It's a no thank you job, thankless job, I should say. People are constantly calling for all kinds of things, half of which you can't get anyway, but they call anyway. And Ellen has done a wonderful job, and I really thank her. And this is Carl Barron, if you don't know, the gentleman standing here in the spotlight. He is in charge overseas, puts together this radio group that do wonderful radio shows and go out to senior citizen villages and nursing homes and so forth, represent the Sun City Community Theater, and I know that you're going to enjoy what they have put together for this evening. Carl?